Hello again. This time we're going to practice with the optative forms, and so we're going to use luo again and do the indicative and optative in the present and the aorist, and in the active in the middle. So some of this will be review, repeat of last time. So I'm going to take luo and add the present active endings. Luo, luace, lue, luomen, luete, and luusi. And as you do this, of course, I recommend that you practice in your head translating the endings I, you, he, we, you, they, so that they become very familiar. And now if we move to the optative, just remember that we use the iota diphthong, and the endings are a little different too, so we'll see what they look like. Luoimi, use the same stem, present stem. Luois, luoi, luoimen, luoite, and luoien. And so you can notice that the endings, me and sigma and then nothing really, and men and te, those are actually secondary endings that are used in the optative. Now if we move to the aorist, again we're going to review the indicative, and so we use the third principal part, elusa, and we add the past endings again, elusas with the augment on, eluse, elusamen, elusate, and elusan. And again, if you practice as you're doing this, translating in your head as you're writing them out, that's a good thing to do. Now if we go to the aorist optative, no augment. There's no augment in the optative, just like there's not any in the subjunctive. But we do use the aorist stem, loose, and then the iota diphthong is now an alpha iota. So the aorist optative is going to be lusaimi. The second singular, I'm going to use the ending luseas because it's more common than luseis. And in the third singular, I'm going to use luseye. Again, it's more common than lusai. And then moving on, lusaimen, lusaite, and luseon, which again, luseon, messed up a little there, luseon, let me write it again. Luseon, which again, that the aon ending is more common than in. Now keep in mind that when you go from the present to the aorist in the optative, it makes no difference to your translation in most contexts. So there's one context, indirect statement, indirect questions, where the tense of the optative matters. But in potential optative and in conditions and purpose clauses, the tense of the optative makes no difference to your translation. All right, now if we move to the middle, again we're going to start with the indicative and review that and put the middle endings on. Luomai, lue, luetai, luometha, luesthe, luontai. And now for the optative, again we're going to use the oi, but now we have to use the middle secondary endings again, right? So instead of my, we have main here. Luoimain, luoio, luoito, luoimetha, luoiste, and luointo. And here you can really see that those endings are secondary. They're actually endings used for the past tense, like the imperfect middle, main, saw, taw, and so forth. And just remember, of course, that we've been learning now that the optative is used with secondary when the main verb is in past tense, so in secondary sequence, so that kind of makes sense. And now if we move to the aorist middle, again, reviewing the indicative, we're going to use the third principal part, but now put the middle endings on. Elusamein, eluso, elusata, elusametha, elusasthe, and elusanta. And again, if you review these, what these endings mean as you go through, I, you, he, we, you, they, that should be helpful. Now if we move to the optative, again, we drop the augment, we use the I, and now we add those same secondary endings. Lucimane, Lucio, sorry, it's Lucio, wrong accent, Lucitol, Lucimatha, Luciste, and Lucintol. Alright, so if we practice with those forms, then we should know the regular forms of the indicative and optative very well.